Hello, 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 my darlings. Thank you for joining me on A Slice of Life. Let me move this back a little bit. Sorry. A Slice of Life. Do you know who's in your midst? Do you know who is in your midst? Now, Georgian, what do you talk about? Today, we know Dr. King as Martin Luther King Jr., but in the classroom, he was simply Professor King. Did you know he taught school? Students walked into class taking notes. They worried about grades. They talked after class. Yet history was standing in front of the room. The beautiful twist is that the students themselves became leaders. Yes, they did. 2 from Spelman and 6 from Morehouse. Here's the roster. Oh, I got it like that. Here's a copy of the roster. Sorry about that. Dr. King made them great. They also were great. But greatness often recognizes greatness. Atlanta in that era was producing leaders. The civil rights movement was producing leaders. The black church was producing leaders. We saw leadership today in Atlanta from Big Bethel AME Church and other churches as they marched today to make sure that we didn't have that map changing and having our vote disenfranchised. Spelman was producing leaders. Morehouse was producing leaders. Professor King was one part of a powerful ecosystem that was already in place. Tomorrow, I'm going to interview the last 2 of 8 students who sat in the classroom with Dr. Martin Luther King. You see the list? That was 8. And I'm interviewing the last 2. Oh my God. And I know them. So can you imagine that? Not hearing him at a rally. That's not where they heard him. Although, Dr. King had been doing, he had already had the march, Montgomery Buscott. I think he had already been stabbed. He had already done a number of things, but they didn't hear him at a rally, although they had heard him at a rally. And they weren't watching him on TV. They weren't reading about him in a history book. They were taking notes in class. Yes, he taught at Morehouse College 1 semester. People don't know that, but I do, and you know it now. And the people who took the class, they know only 2 left. And so, who influenced you before they became famous? Who was your teacher? Like I think now I had Dr. Howard Zinn. And people are like, you took a class from Howard Zinn? Oh my God. But he was Howard Zinn, he was a teacher. He was just like going to somebody else's class. Had to get to his class, had to get to everybody's class, but that was Dr. Howard Zinn. So who influenced you before they became famous? Did you ever work beside someone who later became extraordinary? All who in my class at Clark Atlanta sat next to Pinky Cole in class, and now she's the a soul food vegetarian queen. Did you appreciate them at the time? Where I tell my students in class, look to the left and look to the right. Get the names of the person left to the right and the front and the back, because that person may be president of the United States next. And then what about people who went to school with Kamala? What about people who went to school with Barack? Okay, we all know. You don't ever know who are you in the midst. Who is it right around you right now? Most greatness does not arrive with an announcement. There's no announcement of greatness. People just put their nose down, get on the job, and make it work. Look at Myron Golden. People laughed at him. He was when he was the trash can picking up trash. They didn't know he was going to be Myron Golden, the multimillionaire YouTube, 1 million viewers on YouTube. Nobody knew that. What about they arrived. So as I do this, I'm sorry, I got a call while I'm doing this. So I want to let the person know that I'm doing this. Okay. So greatness does not arrive with an announcement. It arrives dressed like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You just have greatness. Greatness appears. You think about your friend. They say, oh, you friends with that person? Well, we went to elementary school together. We lived on the block together. We rode bicycles together. We were on the swim team together. All kind of things. You don't never know who greatness is. So how many people have overlooked parents and overlooked teachers and overlooked mentors and neighbors and community leaders because we assume greatness comes from somewhere else. But those people are great also. Your parents, your teachers, your mentors, your neighbors, your community leaders. So familiarity often hides significance. I'm going to say it again. Familiarity often hides significance. The people changing our lives may already be sitting beside us. They may be sitting beside you in church. They can be sitting beside you in the next cubicle at work. You don't know who it is. That's why I say treat everybody well. Treat everybody well. At 83, one thing I have learned is this. History is not only made by famous people. No. History is made by ordinary people who answer extraordinary moments. I look at myself. So I made Netflix. I want a show on Netflix, but I'm on Netflix instead because of the story that happened with me and the Atlanta Student Movement, Charles Black, Marilyn Price Hoyt, Dr. Kashif Alvarado Sims was the moderator, myself. So we made it to Netflix. I wanted to be on Netflix with my own story, but that's how I got there. Who knows? Those 8 students lived through a moment. Dr. King lived through a moment, and together they became a part of history. Can you imagine this? Eight students right here. This is the sign-in. This is the official class roll that I have a copy of. It was in a magazine article, by the way, and so I got a copy. I took that copy, but I have other things. What I have here that I'm proud to own a copy of is this right here. It's just a notebook, 25-cent notebook. But what's in that 25-cent notebook? Those are Dr. King's notes from the class. Thank you, Jesus. The question is, who is in your midst right now? What future leader are you looking at in the Sunday school class? You teach in Sunday school. Who is the future author in your writing class, in your teaching right now, or coming to Girl Scouts? Who's a future pastor? There you go. Who's a future pastor out there playing on the playground? Who's a future mayor? Look at Andre Dickens, born and raised in Atlanta. And he said he always wanted to be mayor. You know, tiny, it comes to you early. It came to me early that entertainment was me. Music, entertainment, acting, Broadway was me. Early. I didn't know how to follow it. I only did it at age 77, and it was a one-woman show. You know, I got it out, but I want to do it again. I would love to be on Broadway with it. I don't know how to get there. It's 83, but I'm just saying. You know, you hear it early. Mayor Andre Dickens heard it early. Sometimes history is not something we read about later. Sometimes history is sitting quietly in the seat next to us. History is all around you. Future authors are all around you. Encourage people. When people come to you and say, oh, God, I wish I could write a book. Now, you can write a book now. AI will help you write a book. My daughter helped you write a book because my daughter got all kind of things up online. You heard somebody, you got a kid to say, I like to sing. Let the child sing. You got a kid that say, I want to play tennis. I played tennis in college, in high school. I didn't know that was something I could do. Later in life, I played tennis. I just like playing tennis, and no telling if somebody had said, hey, Georgia, you play tennis all the time. You ever thought about playing tennis? No, I never thought about it. You just don't know. When you look at your children, look at the kids around you, pay attention to the little things and encourage that person. Move that person along. Offer your assistance. Mentor some people. You know, sometimes I had a student to tell me, why do you care about me? I was like, why shouldn't I care about you? But you care. I did something, you know. And he was like, why did you do that? I'm like, why? You needed it. Why wouldn't I do that? That's how I want us to be. We need to do that for one another out here. We would be so much further along if we kept that attitude. We got a Willie Lynch, crabs in a barrel. That doesn't work. When you got people that you can mentor, you know, you can see somebody that's going to be a future pastor. Your future pastor, you may not see it, but it's something about you. Might say, you know, it's something about you. You ever done that? I've done with students. You know, I said something about you, something different about you, and the kids said, God, I heard it. That's what I was thinking. It is something different about me, and it's not different. It's not bad. See, we made different to be bad, but different is good. Different can be good, and different is often good. It's different. It needs to be explored more. That's the issue. You know, when you hear kids say, "I'm going to be mayor," then you don't. What you mean you're going to be mayor? You over here, we can't even pay the light bill. That ain't got nothing to do with the kid being mayor. I'm not saying about Andre Dickens. Andre Dickens said he's going to be mayor, and he made his way. It's a made up mind. So you got people in the midst. You got people all around you. You know, here's Dr. King was a teacher, a professor at Morehouse College in Sale Hall. That same Sale Hall where Sale Hall Annex. I never would have thought that I would have a plaque, any plaque anywhere with my name on it at Morehouse College. But if you go to Sale Hall Annex, you're going to find names, and I'm grateful to Michael Julian Bond, whose father was also in the same class. Council member Michael Julian Bond's father was in the same class with Dr. King. Then my name would be anyway. You don't know. You don't know who is in your midst. And what about you? While we're talking about people in the midst, what about you in your own midst? There's some leaders on the other side of the screen that you know that about yourself, and you hesitating because you're afraid. But fear not, God is always with you. Fear not. Step out there, because every time I've said I better not do it, somebody else will come along and do it, and it'll be so easy. The way it's made already for you. You don't even know the way it's made. Who is in your midst? There's greatness all around us. When God gives you an idea and He's talking to you like this, stay with the idea. Move with the idea. You know, I think about the students that I have taught. Many of them have gone on to be great, and they have their own greatness. And some of them have Grammy records and all kind of things. People are surprised. Oh, I didn't know that sitting in my class. I didn't know that. But that's not the point. The point was I was supposed to teach and lift them up. And I don't know what I said, or some teachers said they lifted it up. The same way with Dr. King. He was a professor. And he was professor of philosophy. Mm-hmm. And I understand that I can't talk about it. I don't want to talk about it yet, because I want to hear what they have to say tomorrow. I did read with the other students. There were 8 students and 6 have passed away. So it's 2 left. And I want to ask to refresh them. I want them to talk to me through the lens of a student. So I can just hear what it was like just to be a student, because they were also a student. He was a professor, they were students. And now you look back, now he is who he is and was and is. And these 2 are who they are in their own right. Fascinating. Who's in your midst? There's one thing about it, we know God is in the midst. All the time, in your midst. Jesus Christ is in your midst, in your mix, in your moment, and anywhere else where you are if you believe. But the one thing I want you to believe is that I love you. Yes, I do. I do. And there's nothing you can do about it.